Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RMTV Women's podcast. This is episode 173. I'm just going to go with it because this is the fourth time I've tried to intro and these just keep laughing. So I'm just going to carry on. I'm joined by Andy and Mick today as Amy's sunning herself in lovely Marrakesh or wherever she's gone.
Very jealous.
Very jealous. She's been on off-roading today. What's it called? Quad bikes.
Quadding into the WSL.
Right.
Right, no one's so funny.
Right, start again.
It's a quadcast.
We're going into it. We're just going because
No.
Did anyone get that one? No, quadcast.
Oh god.
Please start again, Lauren.
No, because we're not going to get it better than that.
We're gonna go
Podcast. You got to start with that.
Quadcast.
Sure.
Just not getting the credit for that. Leave it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let Andy have it. We'll go straight in while we're all a bit more serious now. We attended Liverpool vs Blackburn on Sunday, first pre-season friendly at Prenton Park. The Reds won 3-1, which was nice. Obviously, Katie Stengel got on the score sheet there. Andy, you were very happy about that, weren't you?
I really like Katie Stengel, but I like winding up Michael Manning more, which is an interesting trade-off. It was a good game. There's obviously loads of caveats. We're not going to come up against a side that weak, certainly in the league this season. So we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. That said, it was a game we drew at Prenton Park last season, 0-0, quite a frustrating game, albeit we hammered them away. So, for that to be, that shows a little bit of improvement there from our perspective. It's an interesting one because it's our only preseason game at Prenton Park. It's our only time to really get a look at these players. Certainly, the full 90 minutes of it. We don't think that any of those are going to be streamed. We haven't even seen the highlights from the last one. So how much of an insight into these players we're going to get before the season actually starts is unknown at the moment. So it was an exciting one to see the four new players come on and get at least 45 minutes each. You've obviously got the goalkeeper Cummins, you've got Flaherty, Van de Sanden, and I've forgotten the other one, Kovisto, who finished the game quite strongly. I think it's fair to say. Nice little Finland pun for you there. And I thought all of them impressed in different ways. I think Van de Sanden was probably actually the quietest of the four, which is encouraging because she's the one I'm most sure is going to be a success of the four. So if the other three are showing me how good they are this early, then that bodes quite well for the season. I thought Cummins was really comfortable with the things that she was expected to do. The setup of the wall was a bit mad, but completely irrelevant because that free kick was absolutely fantastic. Wasn't it, Michael? Michael missed that one because he was sat on his phone like a typical millennial. But it was a great strike. And everything else, she looked confident and comfortable. Kovisto, I thought, was probably the best, actually, of the four. I thought she was really, really good. And, she's coming in with a lot of quality, regular starter in the WSL for the last couple of years. And I think having such strong players in either full-back position, either wing-back position is going to be really beneficial to us. Obviously, Hines is just always going to bring that at least 7 out of 10 performance. We mentioned Van de Sanden, and then Flaherty was probably the one that surprised me the most because she's had a tough time of it recently in the WSL, and we're not really sure what we're getting with her. Obviously, Matt Beard's worked with her before. She's going to bring leadership because she's been captain of West Ham for a couple of years now. So, but I was impressed with her in the ball, actually, more than anything else. Nice little punch pass into midfield and clearly going to bring quality there. And obviously the standards and professionalism she's going to bring to training and her experience can only be a benefit. So encouraging all around. Don't know what you guys thought.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with the starting 11, obviously you can't think too much into it because it's only the second pre-season game, and obviously chops and changes throughout pre-season just to get people minutes and stuff. But it was obviously 5 at the back, 2 in midfield and 3 up front. Like, that was something that we were discussing during the match, that we were like, how's this going to work throughout the season? Like, who would you play there? He went with Cairns and Fairness to start with, and then Daniel, Stengel and Van der Sanden as the front three. Would that be a front three for you, Mick, that you'd think would start in the WSL, or would you think, oh well, Mel Lawley's more likely to start there, or Leanne Cairns more likely to start up front? I'm not sure what you think.
Yeah, just have to the back of last season, I'd imagine Lawley would be starting left wing. She's absolutely phenomenal, and the link up there with Hines, it's been class all year round. So I'd like to see her start with that going in. But then again, Daniels is not shy anyway at this moment in time through pre-season, so she's going in hopefully with good form as well leading into September. Stengel, Keenan debate as well. They're both bringing different things. Stengel is probably the one I can imagine Matt Beard going with, just with the physical side of the aspect of that with the WSL teams. And then Van der Sanden, well, again, we still need to see a bit more. As Andy said there, we feel a bit more assured that she'll be solid going into the new season. She's our new start. So I'd probably be keen to lean on a Van der Sanden, Stengel, and then Lawley, I imagine, for my front three.
Yeah, I think it's more likely for Lawley to start, really, isn't it? And it's interesting, like, looking at the graphic of the starting 11 from the weekend. Kearnan's named on the bench, but she clearly wasn't on the bench.
A big massive lie. She was behind us in a suit. Yeah,
she was in the
also a goalkeeper who I thought had been sent out on loan was named on the bench. So I was accusing everyone.
You were convinced that there was a loan deal in there somewhere, and I was
I must have dreamt it, but it's a mad dream.
Yeah.
My third choice keeper's gone on loan. Yeah, class dream that. Yeah, something to shout to him about in the podcast. But no, I checked and she's definitely still there. So
I mean, she was warming up, so she was definitely still.
Yeah, and that caused me a lot of anger, by the way, because Kieran wasn't warming up, and I'm like, where is she? And if only I hadn't looked around and seen she was there, I thought she was just sat on the bench the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because they didn't say like why or whether she might have picked up a knock and like training before. Who knows? But yeah, it's interesting looking at that now. But then going back to like the midfield too of like Cairns and Fairness, you've obviously got Kerry Holland on the bench as well, who's like an absolute machine. Just doesn't look tired at the end of any game. So it's like, who are you? It's probably going to be based on depending who you're going to play and what kind of team you're going to play that he's going to pick his midfield too. Because obviously, if you looking at a lot of midfield, especially for the top, 4 or 5 teams in the WSL, they've got some really, really good midfielders. So we can't be getting overrun in those positions. So that'll be a big thing for him to look at. But moving on, we'll talk about Anfield and the fact that Liverpool Women will be playing Everton, the Merseyside Derby, on the 25th of September at Anfield, which was kind of is it going to happen? Are we going to see it again this season? And obviously they've timed it really well with Anfield being free that weekend. So that'll be really exciting, won't it? I mean, did either of you two go to the 2019 one? No. So
I had an excuse. I lived in Northern Ireland, Mick. What's your excuse?
In Spain, so
okay,
even further away.
Fair. 2 really good excuses as to why you went here. No, it was an unbelievable day. Obviously, 23,500 people attended Anfield. Do you think we can break that this time, Andy? Do you reckon we can get more than that this year?
Yeah, definitely. I think we should be looking to double that. I don't know if that's a really unrealistic expectation, but given that sort of 3 years ago, the place women's football was in compared to where it is now, the place sort of Liverpool as a football club in general we're in compared to where we are now. We've got so many catalysts, I suppose, going for us. We've got the Women's European Championships, which we've already seen be a catalyst for the crowd on Sunday because that crowd was nearly 1,200. I don't think, apart from the trophy lift day, where we got a couple of thousand, I don't think at any home game last season we got that. I don't think we even broke 1,000 past Crystal Palace. So that's a pre-season friendly against a second division team. It's not a glory fixture by any stretch of the imagination. So you compare that to what the crowd could be for a Sunday evening game, first home game of the season against Chelsea. I expect it to be much bigger for that, and I expect us to ride the wave of the catalyst that European Championships has brought us for a while. You've also got the fact that last season was so brilliant to be a Liverpool Women's supporter, and between that first game and last game of the season, we didn't lose a game in the league, which was so impressive. I was actually thinking about it today. I've never seen Liverpool Women lose a game in the flesh, which is a record I don't expect to last very long. But I'm enjoying it while I have got it. And if we can last past that Chelsea game, that'll mean it's been an absolutely phenomenal performance. So fingers crossed for that. But all these things will come into play, and I see the tickets are already available on the Liverpool website. I think for the women's season ticket holders to buy. I think tomorrow it goes to maybe today as this goes out. It goes to the men's season ticket holders and men's members and general sale. So, plenty of time for people to buy tickets. One minor moan I have about it, and I'm not sure how much they can do about this, but in general, I just think people can be a little bit more flexible around these things to maximize, people who can get in the ground, people who can access this. 7:00 on a Sunday isn't great for young kids if they're at school the next day.
Yeah.
I know a couple of people who have been slightly deterred by that, and maybe won't go as a result of that. It means if you're kind of living not in that area of Liverpool, either the other side or city centre, you're probably not getting home to 10:00. And for when you look around Prenton Park, quite a high proportion of it is kind of young kids who are coming down and they're being inspired and want to play themselves, and families as well. It's a very family atmosphere, so a little bit of a shame on that. I don't know if it can be done on a Friday or a Saturday, especially because men's international weekend. I just think there needs to be generally a bit more flexibility. I know they probably have those kickoff slots. I've just twatted my mic there. I'm not angry. Sorry, I'm not allowed to say that word either. So I'd have to edit that out. But I can't even remember where it was. Yeah, just a little bit more flexibility. I know they have those kickoff slots. I know Sky Sports have their time. But the potential benefit of putting that on a Friday or Saturday night, I think. And I'm sure there are reasons why it couldn't be. Would have been slightly better. But that's only my minor moan. I'm really excited for it. But also, crucial thing here, like everyone will go on about how this is great for women's football and this is where the stadiums should be playing in. Forget that for a second. That's a game Liverpool have to win, in my opinion. I think the mentality of the players and the staff going into that is that's must win, because if you look at our other fixtures around that, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, and Man City, there's every chance you get no points there, depending on how it goes. There's a long way to go. There's still transfers to be made. Yeah. From that Reading and Everton games to start the season, the first and third games, I think Liverpool need at least 4 points from that, because you don't want to go into the seventh game of the season winless. That does nobody any favours. So fingers crossed for that. But yeah, a great occasion. It's going to be fantastic for the girls, and they deserve it absolutely. But also, please win.
Yeah, it's interesting as well, because I get what you're saying about it's a must win in terms of the league position, and our games either side and stuff are quite difficult. But it's also a must win in terms of last time around Everton won, and even though the squad's completely different now, there's still a couple of players left who played in that 2019 game, so it'll kind of be in the back of their heads of a must win, of kind of like redemption more than anything. And I certainly don't like to see us lose the derby at Anfield again, because it was absolutely awful afterwards. I've never felt a worse atmosphere than the Knicks zone afterwards, so hopefully I don't have to do that again. But speaking of the 11, I don't know if it's an unfair thing to say, Nick, but do you think this team this time around are better equipped for a game of that occasion compared to the one in? I know you guys didn't really know much about the 2019 team, but if you looked at it side by side, do you think this team is better equipped than they were back then?
I think I'm not too certain, to be honest. I feel like that result we get beat 2-1, don't we, last time round?
It was just a 1-0.
1-0, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not too sure. I didn't watch it. So, but at the same time, like this squad harmony that they've got at the moment is class. Like they all seem to be firing. Like we spoke to Raza Roberts a few weeks back, like, and she's absolutely buzzing for it. Like it's a revenge mission. It's this, like it's playing at Anfield. It's getting back on that carpet, and for them, like they're absolutely buzzing. So I can imagine for us as fans going down, we're excited to go and see Liverpool turn Everton over at Anfield, and like for any Liverpool fan, that's an unbelievable thing to experience, and one that we, as Liverpool fans of any team, like that's what we want to be seeing. So I do feel like we're, I wouldn't say better equipped, but in terms of like team spirit and stuff, this team's tight as anything. The new girls have fitted in right away, and they're only going to benefit us. So yeah, hopefully be stronger. But in terms of going back to what Andy's saying there about, like, I think we can nearly fill this. Like I think we can fill Anfield. I really do. Yeah. And it's not off the back of a token gesture from the club to get it at Anfield. It's what's necessary. Like it's what's needed. Like we think about the weekend's game, and yes, there's 1,000 people at Tranmere, but it's a facilities thing as well. Like you think about going to the toilets or the concourse, and that you want to have an experience for women's football that's a high level, and this is where Liverpool women should be playing at, really. I feel anyway. So hopefully, like the the ticket increase for like Brighton, and so you're seeing people buying season tickets left, right, and centre. I've not seen any numbers from Liverpool, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of web traffic once it goes out on general sale, once it gets past all the members, because just experiencing a game at Anfield for like watching any team's class. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Just to add to that quickly there, Michael. I've never called you Michael in my life, have I? Anyway,
Mick, please, feels wrong.
Mick, yeah. And when you said the mixed zone, I was really working on a pun, but you can get it out quick enough. Anyway, just stay quick. And the point I'm about to make here, you don't want to get into like a philosophical football and debate with like what everyone says about like Marcelo Bielsa and whether football is purely about getting results or whether it's style of play and enjoying it is important. I think something that's really important, normally when you're analysing these games, you'll say, Matt Beard, doesn't matter, just try and get the best result possible. And obviously that is going to play into it. But I think it's actually really important for these Chelsea and Everton games that people actually enjoy what's going on the pitch. Against Chelsea, you're talking about one of the best teams in Europe, never mind England. And I suppose what I'm trying to say is if we lose that 6-0 and don't get a touch of the ball in their half, nobody goes home having enjoyed that, even if you have witnessed some of the best players in the league there. So I think if for us to sort of capitalise on this and get people down to Prenton Park, and it's easier said done against some of the best teams in Europe, but they really need to play a style of play. Getting that balance between obviously being defensively solid, not leaving gaps, but also making sure people enjoy those games as well. And I think the Everton game, you'll definitely get that with the atmosphere and two fairly, hopefully, evenly matched teams. If they are evenly matched teams, then we're in good stead for the season. The Chelsea game, it'll be a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I'm just praying that those go in a way where people can come out of it and feel like they've got something from it and want to come back down and support the team for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Look at that recent game. Sorry, the pre-season friendly. Strasbourg, like that'll be a lot of new fans coming to the ground expecting, and like your kids crying in the stands, and so like you've got to you've got to put on a performance, and this Liverpool side will do that. Like they will be absolutely flying. Have you seen where we're predicted to finish, by the way? No. 538 to put a prediction model out. We're predicted to finish 5th next season, which is like wild. Where it's like very much solid. No, what -1 goal difference our prediction is for the season. And
do you know what I did actually have a look at something. I was doing a bit of research earlier today, because I'm a teacher and I've loads of time off and I'm really bored. So like if you get me on this podcast in like September, the analysis is going to be she kicked it in the net, and you're not going to get any of this. So enjoy it while it lasts. But I had a look at it. There was only apart from the top two and the two Manchester clubs, nobody scored more than 24 goals last season. No team out of 22 games. That's quite a wild statistic, actually, and something we can take advantage of. We know how good our own defensive record is from last season. Obviously, different kettle of fish going into WSL. But the 5th best placed team in the league, Spurs, scored 24 goals. And that was the most out of anyone else out in 22 games, So the gap actually to that, and for me, and getting into a sort of wider debate here, obviously the first objective for next season is to stay up. But for Liverpool women to get where they need to be, the first step of that and the next phase of that is to be the best of the rest. And I see that as probably being 5th or maybe 6th if there's a bit of a gap to Tottenham. But certainly at least that. And you'd like to think sort of within 2 seasons, obviously loads can change. Listen, like Brighton could get a load of oil money in sponsoring the women's team, and they could have like Miedema coming out for them in a couple of years. Who knows? But, for me, looking at it now, get the best of the rest, then you can look to build towards challenging those Manchester clubs, and hopefully famous European nights at Prenton Park aren't too far away.
Oh yeah,
no pressure, Matt, if you're listening.
Yeah, but we'll have to settle for Conti Cup nights at Prenton Park.
Settle for that's Europe's elite competition.
Yeah, big 2-pointer. Can't wait.
Do you know what? There's one thing the Conti Cup taught me last season. It's that 2 points is well better than 3.
Do you know what it's described as? The group stage is described as the pool phase.
I love that. There's so many little quirks about it, which I love. Like
I think 4 teams and others have got 5, like in the group.
It's just confirmed in my mind that like draws should be extinct from football. There should be a penalty shootout at the end of every game if it's a draw.
It's such a mad competition that
who says no?
Yeah, no one says no. Exactly. But it was our Conti Cup fixtures were released this morning. We'll face Sunderland, Leicester, and Blackburn. We always get Blackburn in these competitions all the time. It's like I went through a phase of hating playing Blackburn because we just kept drawing against them. So maybe if we draw this time, you get your penalty shootout. So I don't. It's probably a perk actually if you do draw. But yeah, we reached the quarterfinals last season. What do you reckon? Do you reckon we can go all the way this year? What was the thing that you were saying in the pub on Sunday? And then you were like, would you take winning this competition and finishing like?
Cup double and relegation, or
yeah,
which I'm absolutely taking, by the way.
Screw
the whole project and trying to get cup double.
But you get
11th
relegated.
Absolutely, yeah. Football's supposed to be fun. Look, the project can be pushed back 5 years. If we're getting a cup double and we're having these away days, I'm taking it all day long. All day long.
Andy does have an away day like that.
What happened to that results fun divide split thing?
Yeah.
Come on. Absolutely.
But yeah, right, on the Conti Cup draw, right? Because I'm worried we've not got much time here left. I don't know if you want to like start another one. Yeah, minutes, right? Conti Cup. It's like this thing they do in the wrap, 10 minutes.
Sum it up in 3 minutes for us, Andy, go.
No, because I need to let Mick talk. So after
I didn't want to speak anyway. So
anyway, right, okay. So last season, we know it's not the priority for them. Matt Beard came out before the FA Cup tie against Arsenal and said even that wasn't a priority in terms of the league. That'll be the exact same this season. All the focus is going to be on the WSL. However, I do feel like the fact that we progressed in that competition, and I think we had the 5-team group last time, didn't we? So we had an extra game on some other teams.
Yeah.
And that sort of helps with the squad harmony. The people who aren't getting a game every week come in and feel like they're contributing to something. And even though it wasn't really the same players that were playing in the league that were playing in the Conti Cup, I think the results and the little run we went on there actually did really spur us on and gave us that belief and something to aim towards, because, you know, the league can be a little bit boring sometimes. You're playing the same sort of teams week in, week out, and to kind of have that midweek thing to sort of look forward to, and kind of a little bit of distraction, but not a distraction in terms of getting points in WSL, I think will really benefit us this season. And it's a really good opportunity for us to get into quarterfinals. And hopefully it's a home quarterfinal this time, because I couldn't go down to Spurs. I know you did, Lauren. And apparently, you know, by all accounts, apparently we were the better team that night. But yeah, just as many 2 points as possible would be great.
Yeah, if we ever end up with another trip to Spurs, I'll take it. Cause that was
just don't win. Draw.
Just don't win. Have a draw. Yeah,
exactly.
We deserved the draw that time. We played really well, which was like a good little insight, because I think at that point in the league we were pretty much set to be promoted in terms of, like, in our heads we knew that we were going to get it. So it was nice to sort of compare us to a WSL side, but you just get better and better. So it's one of them. But yeah, I think that was a good way to round it up. We'll end on some Conti Cup highs. Thank you very much for joining me both. I'm filling in for Amy this week. I won't be here next week or the week after because I go away. So you might see these two again with Amy, but who knows? But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Remember
somebody's not doing the job if that happens.
Thank you very much for watching. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all very soon.